Okay, truth time. How many in this room have played competitive sports, high school, college, or even beyond? Okay. How many of you love to lose? Right? No. Awful feeling, isn't it? Being competitive is a two-edged sword. It's a strong drive. It's wonderful when, and it's heartbreaking when. Over the summer, actually, towards the beginning of the summer, I got to watch my grandson playing Little League for the first time. Okay, he's a 9-year-old. And his team was god-awful. I mean, it was just horrible. And then we had one of those funny things that happen, where things come together for just a little bit, and they went on one of these miracle runs. And they got into their playoffs mainly because everyone else was equally dreadful. I mean, this is the first level, okay? He just turned 9, so it was like the 8, 9-year-old division. And he started winning. And he started liking it. And they kept winning. And they got to the championship game. And there was that trophy. And they got crushed. They reverted to form. And I remember after the game, because I went up to Saugerties to see and cheer them on, and it was horrible in all the ways, all the heartbreaking ways that happened. And Tommy was crying, and his mom, Joanne's daughter, Amy, wanted to go console him, and I grabbed her by the scruff of the neck, and I said, "Don't you dare. Leave him alone. Let him experience what it is. He needs to be with his friends. They need to experience this together. They need to understand what competition means, and they need to grow from it. And it's important. It's important to learn how to lose, just as much as it's important to really want to win, okay? And being a Mets fan, I speak from a great wellspring of knowing how to lose, okay? So this has been part of my life for the last 5 decades. Being a winner is so much a part of our culture. And like I said, it's that two-edged sword. So 2 of the very close followers of Jesus, 2 who are identified by a man who must have been known in the community because he's the only time somebody's identified by the Father. They are the sons of Zebedee. Zebedee was well known to the community who heard the story. And this story appears in 2 different gospel passages, which tells me, the non-scholar, but the curious one, this must have made an impression on people if this story is remembered by 2 different groups telling this account. And they tell a story of these 2 guys who come up to Jesus and they say, and in the worst possible way to start a conversation, and please learn from this, do not begin a conversation by saying, "I want you to do something for me." This is not the way we start out, where I'm going to be openly disposed to what you want. But they start the conversation. "We need you to do something for us." And he said, "What?" I'm sure the gospel cleaned it up. I'm sure Jesus said, "What?" And they basically said, "Well, if you're the CEO of the kingdom of heaven, we want to be the 2 executive vice presidents." Okay? And they used the imagery, one at your right, one at your left, all that kind of thing. And I'm now tapping into a sermon once given by Martin Luther King. It's a sermon that I've read many times, and it's made such an impression upon me, and I share it with you. Their first reaction when they get the words out of their mouth is, "Oh, lucky day, we're going to get something." And Jesus turns around to them and he uses this powerful imagery. He says, Can you do what I'm about to do? You know, can you drink the cup I'm going to drink? Can you be dipped in what I'm about to be dipped in? And they have no clue what's coming. And the great irony of this all is we who know the story and know what's waiting for Jesus in Jerusalem, we know the fact that there will be 2, one at his right side and one at his left, except they are 2 convicted criminals who are being crucified. That's what you're asking for. And of course, they have no idea what they're about to ask for. But when Martin Luther King preached a sermon many, many decades ago, he put himself into the position, the words of Jesus, and retold the story this way. He said, Jesus is telling not just them and not just the other 10, but to everyone who will hear him. He's saying, look, what you want is good. Be competitive. The desire, the drive to be great, to be first, that's a good thing. You want to be important, you want to be significant, that's good. You should do that. You ought to be that way. You want to be my disciples, have that desire. But be competitive to be the best at what really matters. Don't give up your desire, but be the first in love. Be the first in moral excellence. Be the first in generosity. Be the first who acknowledges that to be great means to serve. And this is not a long sermon because this ain't rocket science. All right? Jesus interpreted his ministry through the vision, the eyes of the prophet Isaiah, which is why we had that first reading that Jules read so beautifully this morning. One of the 4 suffering servant hymns in the book of Isaiah. Greatness, love, is interpreted as service. You really love someone, be willing to be there for them. Serve them. Care for them. Let your being there matter for the people who cross your path. That's what greatness is about. And have the desire to do it. You're not going to win every trophy. You're not going to be acknowledged as wonderful. Sometimes the people you serve are not even going to like the fact you did it. That doesn't matter. You want to be great? You ought to be. But be great at what really matters. Serving those who need you. Short sermon. Carry it out from